The Flying Toasters. They're a band you've likely seen perform before and can't wait to see again. Well, now you can. The Flying Toasters are taking the stage for Summerfest on May 30th, and Jason and Bill Hayes join us to give us a preview. We'll also find out how the band formed, what has kept them together all these years, and where did the Flying Toasters name come from anyway? These answers and more on episode 211 of the Love in Lebanon podcast.
Welcome to the Love in Lebanon podcast, highlighting all the great things happening in Lebanon, Indiana. Have an idea for an episode? Send an email to loveinlebanon@lebanon.in.gov.
Hey everybody, welcome to episode 211 of our Love in Lebanon podcast. I'm Joe LePage, the City of Lebanon Communications and Community Development Director. What a treat for us on this episode of the podcast. In just a couple of weeks, the official start of summer begins, and that's, of course, Boone County Summerfest. And once again, backed by popular demand, that I would say the most popular band, definitely in our city. The Flying Toasters will be wrapping things up on May 30th. Joining us now, Jason and Bill Hayes of the Flying Toasters. Gentlemen, thank you for being here on the podcast.
Hey, thanks for having us, Joe. Nice to see you.
Man, can you talk about, Bill, first off, you said you had an event the night before we record this thing, and you are ripper and ready to go, and you're thankful this is not a video podcast, but rather just audio.
Yes, this caught up on me. We had an event yesterday, and knocked all the cobwebs off. We're ready to go for the Summerfest and looking forward to it.
Jason, you guys have kind of been on the more or less the ground floor after the first couple of years of the event. You guys are rocking and rolling. This is your third year in a row playing on Friday night, wrapping things up. What does this mean for you to be able to come back and do this thing, playing in your hometown in front of a packed house downtown?
Well, I love it. I have this saying that I've said to multiple people on multiple occasions. I absolutely think it applies to this event. If you have the right band on the right night in the right place, you've really got a chance to have a winner. And being from Lebanon, graduating Lebanon High School 1996, back in the 1900s, it's great to come home. We don't do very many events in Boone County anymore, so it's kind of like, hey, you got to get out. This is your one and only chance to see the band, and we've had great crowds, and thank God, too, we've had great weather over the last few years, so we're just going to continue that trend, hopefully.
And folks, if you've gone to our Summerfest events, it has been, the Friday night weather has been amazing, but we have gotten rained out on Saturdays, and so we've made a deal, and we're hoping it goes through with Mother Nature, where she gives us some nice weather, and we're good to go there, and it's all going to be great. And so we're crossing our fingers for Saturday, because we feel like Friday is going to be amazing. Now, we heard Jason, Lebanon graduate, just a few years before Jason, there was another graduate sitting here at the circular table we're recording on, Bill. You're also a Lebanon graduate, Lebanon guy.
Yes, a few years, quote unquote. I graduated in 1972 from Lebanon High School, yes.
I'm guessing it's amazing for both of you to be able to come back and be able to come back to the hometown and really just take part and be able to play in front of all these people that know you kind of did life with. And before we hit record, Bill, you were talking about how you're reconnecting with folks in your class.
Yeah, and I never thought that would happen, and the band was the conduit for that. When you graduate high school, you open the doors, everyone runs in a different direction, and you don't hardly see anybody anymore, but because we started playing here, my old alumni started coming out of the woodwork, and it's been really great to get back in touch with them and have them come and see us. Yeah. So it's been real fortunate.
And so, folks, if you kind of do the Google search like I kind of did, in late 2003 is when this band was formed, and father-son duo, you guys got this thing rocking and rolling, or Flying Toasters. How did this come about? Yeah, but maybe I'll put that sound effect in here before we have this out to the masses. But how did this all come about? Where you guys are chatting about, you know what, Dad, let's get going here, or Jason, why don't you come alongside and we like playing together, that type of thing. How did this thing form in 2003?
Jason asked me, he says, Dad, before you retire, we've always talked about doing a father and son band, so it's probably about the right time. So, and it was, and we got really lucky with all the people we asked to do it. They all jumped on board, and you form a band, you try to put the right people together, and you never really know what's going to happen, but you'll never find anybody more grateful than us for the run we've had, that's for sure.
How's the father-son duo gone from the son side of things?
Oh, it's great. So we decided that, we had the right lineup. Late 2003, went into rehearsals. We were really Dad and I knew we had to have Orvis on guitar because he is so talented. There's a lot of different musicians that really can excel at one style of music. Maybe a country player, a jazz player, a rock player. Orvis is the most jack of all trades guitar player ever. He can legitimately play 80s hair rock with the whammy bar, and then the next song can be a Merle Haggard country song, and he makes you believe both of that. So we knew when we're doing a party band, you're not always going to play in front of the same demographic of people. Some nights you're going to need to be a dance band, like if you're at a wedding. Some nights, like at a festival, you're going to need to play more rock and just be more of a concert. So you have to have musicians that are agile and able to adjust to the different musics you're going to do and again, make it sound legitimate. So once we knew we had Orvis lined up, Chris Brown was our original bass player. He actually is a resident of Lebanon now. I think he lives out on the north side, so we might see him at the show, him and his wife Randy. Once we knew we had these people, we thought, let's take a shot at this and go forward. And like Dad said, you kind of never really know, but we really struck lightning in a bottle on purpose and on accident at the same time is the best way I could say it. But as far as being with Dad, we knew that was going to work out great, and it has. When he, 95% of his job in the band is playing drums, but I think he's most recognizable because of his hair when he comes out front and sings.
I'm jealous from both of you guys. I mean, you guys have much better follicle game than I do, but your dad's hair, I can totally get it. I mean, it's so distinctive, and it's just kind of plays perfectly with what you guys have.
Well, and it's nice because a lot of the people in the band offer a lot of different musical contributions, and certainly when we bring Dad out to sing Van Halen or Alice Cooper, it's pretty believable. So
yeah, absolutely. And we were talking before we hit record, Bill, that there hasn't been a lot of turnover. You guys, when you guys have kind of had your nucleus, you guys have had some solid musicians, and you guys have bonded and set some really deep roots, and you guys still enjoy playing with each other as much as you guys do.
Oh, gracious, yes, probably even more so now.
Right.
As the years go by, and you look at the reality of life and how much more time do we have, the gigs become more and more fun, I think. And the longer you're together, the more you chill, the more those little things, and it's been. Again, you'll never find anybody more grateful than us for what we've been able to do.
And you kind of alluded to it, Jason, and we're talking with Jason and Bill Hayes here of the Flying Toasters here in episode 211 of the Lebanon podcast. Summerfest coming up on May 30th and 31st. These guys and several other awesome musicians that make up the Flying Toasters will close things out on night one on the 30th. You alluded to it, Jason, that technically, say you're the front man, but you guys switch it up so much that you feature all of the great musicians that make up this band that draws a crowd not only in Lebanon but all throughout the area, the region. We're up in the Madam Carroll, and you guys are on the boat, rocking it. And how important is it to have everybody show off their skills and their abilities, and being able to have them out front and center as well?
Well, I think from my perspective, if I'm on the other side of the stage watching a band, I mean, you can go and see an amazing vocalist, but after a couple hours, you've seen it. Yeah. And no matter who it is, and obviously unless maybe it's Steve Perry with Journey, then we might give him a pass. But from our perspective, again, playing lots of different styles of music and being able to bring a different person to the front of the stage and sing a song, I think it keeps the audience engaged is better than if it's just that one person. Because hey, Rodney comes down front. He was the musical director of the Spinners from Motown, and so he'll sing a couple of Motown tunes. And then, like I said, Dad comes out front, or Orvis comes down and sings, and then obviously the girls do a great job too. So it just keeps the variety going, keeps the show moving, and you just get a different taste of salt and pepper with each tune. So.
Yeah, and backing up just a little bit to 2003, the Flying Toasters, how did this whole kind of name kind of pop in ahead, get it going? That this is the name we've got to go with, and it stuck. You say the Flying Toasters, that's you guys, and they know you by name, certainly.
We stumbled on it, basically. There was a night in the late 90s where the girl I was seeing at the time was working late at her office, and she asked me to bring her some Arby's or something, and I went up there late, and while we were getting ready to eat, I just happened to idly look at the computer screen. And back then, you had screensavers that kept the screens from burning out or something. I mean, I'm not a tech guy, but I know that those things existed. And there was toasters with wings flying across the front of the screen, and I was just transfixed. It's almost like when you get an idea for a song, you all of a sudden you just look at it and go, what's that? She goes, it's a flying toasters. It's a screensaver. Pass me the mustard. And so anyway, life went on. We didn't need a band at the time. I was already in a band, but I filed that away for our, for to use later on, because the only purpose for a band name is to have an audience connect with it. So if they leave a place and they've had a couple of Bud Lights and they love the band, they'll remember the band the next day if you have a distinctive name. And so the Flying Toasters was born almost in the late 90s, but didn't come to fruition until 2004.
It's so similar to the Office episode where they're waiting for, what is it, the square rectangle or something, the screensaver on the tube TV to hit right at the corner. That this was a screensaver of Flying Toasters. I remember that, the old school days. Then that's so funny. Oh, man.
Yeah, and when you're naming a band, you want to try to get something that sounds fun. Hopefully the name doesn't offend too many people and is memorable. And that was the goal of it. Obviously it's kind of a silly name, but we take ourselves seriously and don't all at the same time. So,
and again, I'm not a tech guy, but I remember Jason was excited when he got a .com address for it, as opposed to a .org, where I guess that was a big deal.
Well, it still kind of is, but back in late 2003, you wanted to have a whatever it was .com, because that's just the times you lived in.
Oh, man. And how important is it for you guys to keep playing shows back in your hometown, of being able to bring the Flying Toasters, whether it's the 4th of July, and that was a thing that we always had at Memorial Park. You guys played the grandstand there, and that was, I remember going to events at the Y, and you guys are playing those events. They're always ones that are calendar marking events. We all have those movies where they're remote droppers where I'm going to watch the whole thing. Shawshank is it for me, but it's like for you guys, when they see the Toasters are coming to town, that's a schedule marker. That's a done and done. Still just as important for you guys to come back home and play gigs?
Well, I want to back up, and Dak can talk about this too, but when we first started the band, we were very purposeful about, in Indianapolis, having what's called a house gig. So every Thursday night at Joe's Grill, you could count on seeing the Flying Toasters, and it was something that, and that's, people tell their friends, and it just kind of goes viral, like, hey, you got to come see this band. And so we knew we wanted to do that, and we were purposeful about that in Lebanon too, at the American Legion, where we played the last Friday of the month. Every month, all year long, we were always there, and that helped build this Lebanon fan base.
Yeah, and to touch on, you asked how exciting it is. I mean, to be able to come back and know that unless it's bad weather or something, we're going to have a really good crowd.
Dad, you're going to have to do a weather forecast that says it's good on Facebook.
Okay,
so.
I will be happy to. But to have that kind of anticipation, I guess I'm speaking from a musician and a performer aspect. You do not get tired of it. You could do. We've done this for 20 years, and I still get jacked up every time we play. So it's a blessing that keeps on giving. That's for sure.
And you mentioned the jacked up nature of it, and then doing the Google search, like I mentioned, everybody. Energetic performances, off the cuff approach to set lists, and prioritizing fun and camaraderie. Those are the statements that kind of are listed on Google when you search the Flying Toasters.
Is that you're not reading the bad Google reviews, are you? Okay, don't read those. I think there's tire kickers in every bunch, but no, I think that's absolutely coins the phrases that we would want to be associated with this. And our kind of our catchphrase is a nonstop party band experience, and that's kind of the idea. It's like, if we want to go for 45 minutes without ever stopping, we can. If we stop every song, we can do that too. It's very the performances are definitely tailored to each night and who's in front of us. So,
well, a concept thing here for you, just to throw in. There are a lot of bands, I guess, that still do, that make set lists beforehand. And the set list you make on your kitchen table several hours before may not be the fit for the scenario that you are presented with at the bar. People come in with different moods and mindsets and vibes, and Jason is just great at being able to suss out what these people want to hear, and we can stop and turn on a dime and go a different direction if need be. So the fact that we're not handcuffed by we have to do this next song because it's set up, that's been one of our strengths, I think.
And do you guys play a lot of music that you like to play first off, or is it you're catering to the crowd? And this is how do you guys have such a? I guess the better question should be, how do you guys have such a large list of songs you can go to that if it's the younger crowd, you got that in your wheelhouse. If you want to go classic rock, you guys, I've heard it. You guys are able to kind of pull that thread as well. What is it about this band where you're able to kind of read the room and being able to kind of think on the fly and switch it up and here we go?
For me, growing up, it's just all I knew. Dad was we talked about these house bands. Well, in the 80s, you played at Holiday Inns or nightclubs, and you had stints there. So, Dad, explain real quick how that would work.
Basically, it's a training ground. It's like going to school, where you play these rooms 6 nights a week. Back then, there was no internet, there was no YouTube, there was no electronic entertainment. If you wanted to hear a band, you went out. That's just what you did. And so the clubs and the bars, they accommodated that. And once you do that for so many years, these songs get burned into you. Just like Jason mentioned Orvis. Orvis did a lot of those house gigs with me. And that's where we learned all of that, to be able to pull those things out on the fly. And little did we know during those long nights in the bar that we were going to have use for this education and be able to put it forward in a positive way.
Yeah, but it like I said, just growing up, I'd listen to, they'd make cassette tape recordings off the soundboard, and I'd listen and you're going from this song to this song to this song, and one song would end, but Dad wouldn't stop. He'd keep the bass drum going, especially if you had a full dance floor. Just keep the bass drum going, count into the next song, and off you go. And I think what is so easy for me to do, it's been harder for other bands to do too. Because like, well, how do you not end the song? I go, well, it's real easy. You just don't. And but we've taken all this time to do that. So I think for me, it was just a happy accident of learning that, just paying attention to what these guys were already doing and already figured out, and then we just applied it to this band.
Yeah. One more thing, I would go to dance clubs where the DJs would work, and you never heard them stop. A DJ at a dance place, one song always goes into another. And then you watch the crowd. They don't leave. It's almost like having a conversation. If you keep talking, the person's not going to leave. But if you stop, they go, oh, my God, we've got to go. So we keep them tied in because we will not physically let them leave. There's always something going. And it's little things like that that create one big thing.
Yeah, and speaking of the big thing, did you guys ever think that the Flying Toasters would be as big as they are? Because you guys have a tremendous following.
I think we hoped it would be. It was starting bands as a shot in the dark. We had, both of us, Dad and I both had stints playing for Henry Lee Summer and specifically working with his club bands, where he's just such a wealth of musical intelligence and knowledge, and just how smart he is. Not only does he sing "Wish I Had a Girl," but he can play drums and he plays all the instruments on his records, and he talked to you about concepts, and you just sponge it in. And he always had the best sound engineer, and he had the best sound and PA, and the rooms are packed. So we's like, well, we're going to do this. So we put our best foot forward with everything that we could learn and take from previous experiences. But again, you hope, but you don't know. I mean,
at what point did you know that hey, we've finally kind of gotten here?
I'll speak into that just a little bit. Our sound engineer for 18 years, he since has passed a couple years ago. Good friends of ours too, but was Henry Lee's engineer for years, and before that, he had stints with the Judds and Cheap Trick, and just a pro level guy. And he said this band, popularity-wise, is growing faster than the Alligator Brothers when they were doing that. Now, the Alligator Brothers was Henry Lee Summer on drums, Carl Story from the Faith Band singing lead, Rick Bennick from Roadmaster, Bone from Roadmaster. So you got all these guys.
Some names.
Oh, yeah. I mean, an incredible band, and it was just mesmerizing to watch those guys play disco on Tuesday night at CT Peppers in the 90s. I turned 21 on a Saturday. That's where I was at on a Tuesday. And I went, holy smokes, you can do this in a nightclub. I mean, it was great. So it's like, I knew when we were starting this band, we have to have this sound engineer. And he said, hey, this is going faster than that band. And we're just are guys. We don't have those names, or I don't sing near as well as Carl's Story, but it just was working.
Yeah. In your love for music, Bill, when did that really get rolling here? Before that planted the seed with Jason and kind of has led to the fruit that we have now?
Oh, going way back. When my dad bought me my first pair of drumsticks on the way to Florida, one of our vacations, and I started playing on Maxwell House coffee cans in the back of the Cadillac. Mom turned the sound to go in the back to where I could hear, and that kind of ignited this spark, and it just kept germinating. And I mean, I went through all the garage bands and all the unsuccessful this and that, but I never wavered. It was always something I really enjoyed doing. And, of course, I still, to this day, don't know whether to apologize to Jason or thank him for dragging him into it, too. But it's been, like any musician can tell you, it's something that doesn't leave you, and it's continually rewarding. So,
and is it a thank you that you're thanking Dad for getting you into this, getting you hooked, or is it kind of go highs and lows where it's Dad, why'd you get me into this? And then it's Dad, thanks for getting me into this.
Well, his mother, my grandmother, I think she knew better, and she was insistent that I go to college. And so it's a senior year, and I'm going, well, okay, I'll go to be a conservation officer. I'll go to Vincennes, right? Because it's like, well, I'm looking up and down all these things you can do, and gosh, look at all the math that's required to be a meteorologist. I kind of like weather, but I'm not going to do that.
I don't like it that much.
So she was like, I'm even going to pay for it. So, okay, I'll go. And I made it about 55 hours through all the easy classes before I finally gave up and said, yeah, this doesn't make any more sense. And I joined a bar band 3 nights a week. So I don't know if it's Dad's fault. My grandma tried to push me in the direction that it probably should have went, but it just wasn't there from the factory. So this is all I know. So this is what we're going to do.
Yeah. And before we hit record, Bill, so you guys are still doing it. How long will it continue with you? We just getting started here. I mean, the energy that you have is off the hook, man. As a band in total, what's next for the Toasters? Keep on rolling?
As long as we can. I mean, I'm hesitant to speak for everyone else in the band, but my feeling is that we're all in it and we want to keep going for as long as possible, at least as long as the people keep coming and as long as it makes sense to do. Because again, it's getting more fun all the time,
and they won't stop because you couldn't keep the music going the whole time. You don't stop you keep that going on the beat, the bass. They can't leave the dance floor. They got to keep coming.
That's the idea. In this day and age, when there's so many distractions, if you see them pick up a cell phone and start texting, you've done something wrong. It's the
true.
idea is to be more popular
so
than whatever's on the phone so that they choose us.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. If we can talk about you guys on Friday night, can you give us some perspective on the Janeways? They got caught up in Mother Nature the year before and got rained out. They were supposed to open up the Saturdays. Have you had much interaction with them? Do you know much about the Janeways?
So the Cliff Notes version, the lead singer a couple years ago posted on a sound engineers forum on Facebook that they're having trouble with their soundboard. And I do pro audio as well. And so I just replied and said, hey, I can help, having no idea. And turns out that her name's Ellie Brown, and we have actually had interactions before because she used to represent Hunter Smith, the punter.
Hunter the punter.
Hunter the punter that had a musical group for a while, a few years back, and we did a couple of New Year's Eves with the Hunter Smith band at the Hyatt Regency downtown. So we kind of, we remember you. Da 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 da. So I went over to the house, and this is this all-female band who are all housewives that decided during COVID, we want to be musicians now. Nobody had ever played guitar or drums or any keys, none of it, but they go, hey, we're just going to figure this out. And they've sit down and done it. And the spirit of the group is awesome. They have this charm about them that we all had, that Dad and I had when we were 17 in the garage with our buddies, and that spirit just shines through and through with them, and they're great to see, and wonderful bunch of gals.
And truth be told, they got rained out. They didn't end up playing last year's Summerfest, but they were so to what you're talking about, Jason. They're just such good people, and it's kind of fun to see them where they're at, and with their group, they still wanted to play. And so as the rain's coming down, and we're looking at all the vendors, and they're like, this isn't going to happen, and talking to all the engineers that are there, and we've got rain, it's going to continue, and it's going to bring some lightning with it, so we're shutting this thing down. They still want to do an air check. They want to get some stuff on tape. They want to get the experience of the larger stage where it was at, and I think that kind of speaks to who they are, and what they want to be as musicians, and what they are slowly becoming.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and they are marvelous girls. Jason's right. We've, interacted with them, and their spirit is just amazing. And you just smile the whole time you watch them play. So it's I advise everyone to come out and check them out on Friday night.
And so they open for you guys on Friday, and then we get things going early in the morning with some pickleball, and you guys will probably still be riding high or getting some sleep pre-Mountain Dew on Saturday morning.
I'll have a Mountain Dew.
So there'll be pickleball and DJ Millennium getting things going on Saturday morning. And then Jay Baker 3 is our co-headliner for Saturday. You guys deal a little bit with Jay, a little bit. No one can cross some paths with him, and he brings a following as well. Fantastic group.
If you have not, if you're listening to this and you haven't heard of Jay Baker or seen that, what they do is just incredible. Jay is one of my favorite country singers in the area. They do a lot of newer pop country, and he's just wonderful at it. People come out of the woodwork to see this band. So what time do they start?
We're going to get going around 6.
Well,
both nights.
Get your seats early, because they will have their posse here ready to go. So you better check them out.
Yeah, and that's one of the things, honestly, that we had to do, thanks to you guys, is the crowd was so large. We're having to reconfigure some things, because it's always bring your own lawn chair, and so it's a sea of people. That's going to be a madhouse, I think, 2 nights in a row. So we're going to have to create some aisle space there. So you're saying get your seats early for Jay and his crew that are coming.
Well, yeah, not only because there's lots of people, but the band's great.
Yeah.
It's a double win.
He's a great singer, great entertainer, and a great guy. It's a triple threat there, really.
Adding the co-headliner on Saturday night is Chase Wright. And Chase, just like you guys, Lebanon guy, Lebanon graduate, chasing and realizing that dream in Nashville is going to be our co-headliner for Saturday. And so it's going to be just a fun-filled weekend in total. And again, we've made the deal with Mother Nature, and so we should be all good there, simpatico.
All we need is high pressure, a strong high pressure to the northwest. We're good. Let's hope.
So that's where you got the meteorology stuff. You get that too, the music and the meteorology.
Yeah. So Dad has been a lifelong boater. So I grew up going to Lake Michigan or to Florida. And, when you get on big bodies of water like that, you better mind your P's and Q's and understand what's going to happen weather-wise. So it's just kind of been ingrained in the conversations of daily interactions with us over the last 45 years. So if you're interested and you're friends with Dad on Facebook, he does do periodic weather synopsis and evaluations as to what to expect when there's weather coming. So maybe we should have him on the Flying Toasters that week, and we'll tag you guys, and we can get the official Bill Hayes weather forecast.
Buddy,
for
that'd
the
be
Summerfest.
awesome. Are you okay with that, Bill?
I am great with it. Now the pressure's on. I've got to get
High
it right
pressure's
now,
on?
but-
High pressure?
Yeah.
There's that drum.
Sorry, they're dad jokes. I can't control them.
I'll do my best.
That's awesome. Well, if there are 6 people that are listening to this that have not seen you guys play, and someone's coming out for the first time for the Flying Toasters to see them in person, what can you tell them to expect? What you gonna bring for them to see?
All the hits that they're familiar with, done in a theatrical concert type presentation with killer girl singers and a great front man, and just good vibes sent their way the whole time. And that's what we always strive for.
That's awesome. And the best hair game in the business. I mean,
the best, I don't know about that, but I try really hard.
Guys, I appreciate you being here on the podcast. And Jason, I mean, you excited for this show?
Absolutely, yeah. This is the flag dropping for summer for us because once you get through that Memorial Day weekend, this is the first Friday night outdoor night that we're doing all season here in the local area. So yeah, there's just lots of anticipation because let's go, let's get out, let's get this summer happening, and this is just the first big one of the year, and people have that optimism of summer, and I think that's why you have such great attendance. Not only do you have the right bands in the right city and the right night, but you have the right weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. And this year it falls on with you guys in the schedule that we had because you guys are who we book and make sure you guys are available for this sort of thing. It's graduation day in Lebanon, and so what the perfect way to put an exclamation mark on the school year than to have graduation, commencement, hooray, and then just let your hair down. Or tease it up and and be able to just escape and listen to some good music and have you guys. It's the perfect kickoff to summer. Well said, Jason.
Yeah, to all our Lebanon friends, if you hear this, please mark your calendars. We'd love to see you. We want to keep this going, and we're so grateful for our following here. It's a big deal.
That's fantastic. Well, guys, thanks for being here. Really appreciate it. Thanks for taking the time, coming in, recording with us on here, and we'd love to have you back. Maybe bringing in more of your friends.
Yeah, Joe, we'd be happy to anytime. We appreciate the invite.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
All righty. We're getting ready for Summerfest on May 30th, 31st. Details are all on the website. You probably see some TV commercials and some radio spots as well because they're getting ready to ramp up ahead of this event. Boy, Jason, Bill, thanks again for being here. We appreciate it. And thanks, everybody, for listening to episode 211 of our Love and Lebanon podcast. More episodes coming your way soon. Take care.